Hey guys, what's up? Got a 15 plus 10 on the board. Just time to do a slightly slower game. Opponent is Stademar, rated 15-12 from Spain. And we have King's Pawn regular opening, so we're going to get the Ruy Lopez. Okay, so we go Jaenisch Gambit. And we recapture the bishop with the D pawn. B is probably okay as well. And they've taken the pawn, so what we nearly always do in these situations is push, because the knight's still there, the queen can't come out to h5. Okay. So this is very common. You'll see this in the Vienna Gambit and also in the Freddy Krueger reflections of that. They're trying to be clever and pin the pawn on the king. But we just do the same thing. So now we've unpinned the pawn, but in this instance the knight can come here, of course, and we can't immediately capture the pawn. So I'm thinking knight f6 to add a second defender to this, and develop. We could kick the knight. If we kick the knight, then he can't go. So it's just, he can't go here. He can go there in theory, so that's not fantastic. I think knight f6. Now ideas will definitely include developing this bishop somewhere and probably long castle, because we now have the semi-open d file, we have no d pawn. I want to get my rook onto d8 and start to control a lot of space in the center. Okay. Decent move. Now this just isn't playable unless I kick the knight. If I kick the knight, if he comes here I can trade off, but actually we also have two attackers now on e4. I would like to save the e4 pawn, but I don't want to bust the gut to do it. This is not ideal. Continuation, this is maybe one to look at. Okay, so I can just put my bishop here in castle, that's fine. g6 is a thought, try and tempt the pawn away. I'm going to end up with an isolated pawn on the g file then, which is okay if my opponent castles short. So I think this move for now is all right. If they push d3, that's a third attacker. If we trade queens, that's not too bad. And if they recapture with c pawn, that's not great for white. Sometimes at this point I'll flick over to my study and check if I did something wrong. But only after the moves have been played. I won't refer to a study ahead of playing the moves. Okay, now this definitely looks like a concession here. So this is like a kind of a gambit situation. So white has now pretty much, I think, given up any sensible option of castling short. However, and that they're trying to hang on to this pawn at all costs, which kind of makes sense because the pawn is a bit of a pain. However, you know, my knight's looking at that, but I might need to worry about g5, but if g5, I'll just stick my knight here, and if we trade off I actually repair my pawn structure. So I'm just going to go ahead and castle now, I think. Yeah. If this pawn goes, by the way, I've got bishop and knight looking there, and notice if they castle long, they'll have a queen and a rook on this diagonal. Worth knowing about. And in fact, in my live session yesterday, we had a game where I played h5. My opponent had a queen here and went ahead and castled straight away, right? And that then allowed bishop h6 defended by my rook, and the queen was, yeah, in fact it was a queen here and the king behind it. So the queen was on one of these two squares, so it was bishop h6. So if this, then the rook and queen are going to be on the light square, so maybe something like this. and get the bishop onto g4. We'll think about that. Okay, they've done this. I was prepared for that. This is not a bad thing. However, when I move my knight, they could play knight here, of course. So, they are extending rather a lot though, aren't they? Having said that, if they take this pawn, maybe I've got bishop here. And if I take out c2, I feel like, well, I can't play bishop there. No, if they take there, I can't capture. But if I move my bishop, I'm looking at this knight. I don't know. Should I... See, this is a good example as well. I can't just counterattack their knight. Why? Because if they take my knight, I take theirs, my queen. It's a continuation sequence. I can't go here or here because of the queen. I could simply retire the knight all the way back, and that might be the right thing to do. If I go here and they take this pawn, if I come all the way back, they just take the pawn anyway. So I think I'm slightly out of options here. But the key imbalance from White's perspective is he's not castled. Move 10, he's not going to castle on move 11, he's not going to castle on move 12. And if he goes here, what do we do? Which is what I expect. I mean, he could also take the queen, try and force the queens off the board. Also, no, I'm looking at this pawn. So will he even think about this to try and defend it with the bishop? Depends how badly he wants to protect that pawn. Also, if I take this pawn, I've then got two attackers. I've got queen and bishop looking at f5. Which would make, embarrass his overexpansion. Another issue is, okay. I'm inclined to take this knight. However, I could also just take this pawn for free. Good night. But then he takes, he can take. That looks really dangerous. I've got queen g2. So if I take here, I'm also threatening rook e8. Yeah, if I take here, he takes this knight, rook e8, defended by the bishop. He can't block with the knight because I just take then defended by this bishop. So if I go here, he takes the knight. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that. I'm also threatening then queen g2. That forces the rook over here. Oh no, I can't do that while the queen's on that diagonal. Come on, Hunty. Wise up. All right. Okay. Now one thought is take the knight. If he takes my queen, I take his queen. He takes my rook. I think I'm just losing material that way. Do I have any checks? I'm one pawn down. Oh, I can just take this pawn actually. Can't I? I can just take this pawn. But then he's got two attackers on this knight. But he's not going to take with the knight first. I think my big threat is actually rook e8. Yeah? So I want to keep his queen on the open e-file. Right, but things have changed now, I see, because yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I want to keep, because I've got rook e8 and then rook e7, but he can block with this knight. If I take here, he takes my queen, attacking the rook. I take his queen. He takes my rook. I take his rook. Is that better? Is that better? Yeah? I take pawn, I'm a pawn up. Takes queen, takes queen. Takes rook, I'm still a pawn up. Oh, hang on. Knight takes bishop. I take pawn, knight takes. My feeling is I just need to get out of this line. So what's the most pressing and aggressive thing that I can do? Maybe something like this, forcing the queen to continue to defend that knight. Yeah, and then ideas of rook e8. If knight takes... No, I don't want to be in range of the knight if it should take. So, don't like this square. H5? Seems mostly harmless. I still have this idea, and most importantly, I still have rook e8. Now I took nearly 3 minutes over that move. But one thing I'm learning is that when you identify a critical position, a critical move in the game, see he's just gone straight for that. Now, if I do this, he can't block with that because I take, but he can block with this one. So maybe I miscalculated that. If I attack this knight, is it going to move? It doesn't have to. If I do this, he's going to play his knight here, right? He's got to. I can then eliminate the knight. He can take with pawn. Rook here. This knight blocking doesn't work. So rook here. This knight has to come to there. I take. Queen can't take because queen is lost. Pawn takes. Right, I think I need to pull the trigger on this. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Pull the trigger on this. He's going to have this. I can capture this knight then and attack the queen. The queen needs to... No, well, kind of. Whew. Tactics City. So I have hanging knight. But the big difference, and I am 4 materials down, has to be said. But I've got my king castled. He has not, and he can't castle right now because the queen being there. Okay, he's done this. Now I'm thinking, okay, I've got 2 things I can do. If I take there, hit the queen, queen comes here, yeah? I take, pawn takes, I can't take with a rook because queen can capture. If I take this knight now and pawn takes, oh! Got 2 attackers on the knight. I think that's got to be done. That seems right. I can also throw in a check, maybe, and then connect my rooks, which I might need to do. Now this rook is currently defended by my queen. Whew. Super tactic. Super tactic, fragilistic. Okay. Now I'd love to do that. Can't. I'm still -4, but this knight is mine. Now I can take it with my pawn and attack the queen. And dummy over here can't castle. I have to do that. If I take with the queen, yeah, I'm threatening the... Oh, if I take with the queen, I'm then threatening rook takes. So I think if I take the queen, he's forced to recapture with queen. So we've got a similar situation with the queens off the board. Now, with his king in the middle, I think we want the queens on. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm also thinking about a move like this, or this, but that's easily refuted with tempo. That's the problem there. Okay. We stayed on the e-file. Is that wise? So I can just play something like this, maybe? Oh, no, he's okay. So he's attacking my queen. He wants the castle. He desperately wants the castle. So I'd love to stick my queen on here or here, threatening the b-pawn, but I can't go there. So I think something like this. He brings out his bishop, his queen is lost. So he can't bring out his bishop on the next turn. I think whatever happens, I'm going to capture this pawn now. He can't give check with his bishop, and he can't attack my queen because my royal family are on light squares. This just seems to have been tactics from the start, which is great. And honestly, guys, that is what chess is. Chess is about, I mean, who said, I don't know, chess is 99% calculation or 90% calculation, sorry, 90% tactics, and it just is. You know, if this, then that, know your tactics, and he's moved his king. And that, boys and girls, is a major concession. Now, I can take the pawn, and I probably should. I don't really want this pawn advancing up the board, but something like bishop d6, you know, really targeting this maybe. Also love to drop my queen, but I think rook here, right? And then if I can like get my queen here with check, get my rook over, it's got to be good, hasn't it? And we're hitting the queen. And we've rebalanced the material. So can you see what's happened? Okay, white has, I think, overextended by trying to keep the pawn, the gambited pawn that he took here, on pushing g4. And now look at his problems, right? What he didn't do was he didn't develop this bishop. He didn't castle his king. Tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking bishop c5, rook there, defended by the bishop with a barrage. Now I could stick my rook here straight away, and then the queen will just move again. But I think I have to do this. Yeah, queen is attacked. Oh, didn't see that. Failed to notice that little particular wrinkle in the plan. Might have to move my rook here to defend rook and bishop, but I don't know. In fact, the rook's defended, so he can take this pawn if he wants, but... Huh. Right, if takes, obviously pawn has to take. And then he's actually got quite a solid setup of 5 pawns. And I can't play rook f8 and win the queen, because there ain't nothing defending it. Now, there are other options. One is d4. Push d4, tell this bishop to bugger off. But then that blocks my own bishop's view of f2, which ain't ideal neither. Alternatively, rook f6, hit the queen. Once the queen moves, this pawn is pinned. That's better. I like that. Right, go, take the pawn, why not? Take the pawn, then I can win the bishop for nothing, because if the queen moves, right, this pawn behind her is pinned. And this pawn could be the only defender of the bishop. Depends where the queen moves to. If the queen captures this pawn, it's bye-bye bishop. Bye-bye bishop, bishop, bye-bye. Boo bishop, bishop, bye-bye. There's a donate link in the description you can use to bribe me not to sing. Okay, first thought. Rook e8. If rook e8, the bishop's pinned, can't take my bishop. Then I'm threatening to take his bishop. Queen can't take, so I take her. That can't take anyway. Sold. I've got 5 minutes left on the clock. We are in full-on tic-tac-tactic mode. Same issue, surely. I take that. If queen takes, bye-bye queen. Pawn can't take. Gotta be done. Gotta be done. That is practically resignable now. How long did he take over that move? 13 seconds. And he's got 11 minutes left. Okay. He resigns. I think, you know, that's probably the move. Comes with check. Queen takes. Don't know. But either way, it's horrible, horrible position. Okay, so let's check the opening. Because it feels like I was tripping over my own feet a little bit there. I can also go chess studies, black, Jaenisch versus Spanish. Ooh, a couple of big blunder here. That's gonna be fun. 48.2 from a 1500 player in Rapid is poor. I'm relatively happy with this. Okay, so exchange. So Jaenisch Exchange. Okay, we take back with D, yes. And then what was it? Cheered. And then, okay, EF. Exchange EF. We don't even have a chapter for Exchange EF, so one to add. And it's inaccurate. And we're already slightly better. Okay, we push. Good. Queen blocks. Oh, you can just grab the pawn straight away. Yeah, just grab the pawn straight away. There's no right, no rush to do this. The pawn isn't threatened. If I take here and defend the pawn with the bishop, nice, nice move. So now here's what I can do, right? Very simple. Add new chapter. Exchange. E takes F5. Yeah. And I'll just put it in the appropriate place. Okay, let's play through the moves. Okay. Roy Lopez. Let's stick lines on. Okay. Jaenisch. They call it the Schliemann defense, but it's also the Jaenisch Gambit. They take, and EF. Okay. E4 is correct here. Good. Queen E2 is actually the best move. And then here you see, yes, bishop F5 is best. Okay. They will play, what have I got this set to? Big boys. Okay, got it set to big boys, that's fine. Black wins very well from here, 57%, right? Most popular move by a mile, D3, and then Queen E7. That's all you need to know, for now. Okay, good stuff. Well look, I've won a game, got some rating points, I've learned a new variation, I've added it to my study. There we go, what's not to like? There you go, hope it's been useful for you. Thanks for watching, see you soon.